Three, two, one, check on the microphone. Hey y'all, it's Mr. Solis. I'm going to show you a couple things real quick on beginning compositing for our Surreal project. If you press Command and Tab, it'll actually show you which programs you have going on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch from Photoshop right now into Bridge. And these are some images that I'm going to open up here. I've already selected a bunch, so I'm just going to press Command O for open. And we got to make our project first. So we're going to go up to File and New. And then we're going to wait for it for a second because it takes a second to load. It's a really big program, so some things take a little bit longer than others. Don't worry about any of this stuff over here. Any of this stuff, don't worry about. We're going to worry about pixels. We're going to measure this in inches. We don't want any of these. So we're going to actually make this 15 inches wide by 10 inches tall, and our resolution is going to be at 300. It'll help you this time to make sure that the background is white, and ultimately we're going to cover over it all to begin with. Now, you get this. Remember, if we get our crop tool, this guy right here, and just click once, it'll help us see where our rule of thirds will be. To get your rulers, you can press Command R, and it'll get rid of them, or it'll bring them back. And I'm going to just set these up because these are a really good way to help us formulate an image, especially when we're compositing, keeping things kind of in perspective. And I'll show you what that means in a second as well, because one of my shots has a little bit of architectural detail that I want to. All right, so I'm going to switch tools, and I'm not going to crop. So now I have my guides. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start setting up my background. I'm going to use this cloudy sky with this bird flying, just happened to be on campus, but it's going to be the sky in this image, which is a bunch of you guys out shooting portraits looking funny with cardboard. So this is going to be my background. I'm going to use this area down here as my foreground. I'm going to get rid of the sky. I'm going to get rid of this thing, and I'm going to show you a couple different techniques. So right here from this image, we only have a background. I'm just going to go select all, Command A, Command C to copy, and I'm going to go over to my project and press Command V. Now, you'll see that my whole background does not cover this whole image size. Yours might be different. I already know personally that I'm going to need more room on this side, so I'm just going to make sure that it lines up with that side, because my other image that I'm going to use is going to be this one. Not that one, it's too crooked. So how about this one? That one looks a little bit better, maybe that one. No, don't like it because it doesn't have the top on it. So we're going to use this one. I'm going to go select all, copy. So select all, Command A, copy, Command C, and watch what I do. I go in here and I press Command V for paste. Now, this image, if I switch over to the Move tool, I can move this on any part of the layers that I want. But the truth is that, no, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go back to my original. I'm going to try and see if I can make this whole area fit into my project. So I'm going to go up to where it says Edit and Transform, and I'm going to do Scale because I need to make this a little bit smaller. I'm going to zoom out, Command minus, and I'm going to hold the Shift key down. And I'm going to go just slightly bigger because I can see that this line right here and the edge of the doorway don't seem to be lining up very well. Press Command 0. I can zoom in a little bit and take a look, and it's starting to look like it's okay. So maybe I don't have to rotate it. Well, I was wrong. This guide is closer to this corner and that corner. So what I'm going to have to do is hit the check mark, and then the fast way to do transformations, I can do Command T, but the problem is that if you don't hold the Shift key, things get really wonky fast. So I'm going to press Command Z and get out of that. What I can do is I can actually rotate this just a tiny little bit, but I also need to bring it up a little bit so that it shows and it blocks everything underneath it. Now, we have an image on top of another image, which is on top of a white background. I tell you guys that down here, this button right there, if I wanted to go and make a I don't know, let's say like a portal. I'm going to go and get my polygonal lasso tool. And maybe this doorway leads into somewhere else. So doorways are pretty much like straight edge. And I'll be able to go and if I hold the shift key, it'll make sure that it's a perfectly horizontal line or vertical line, but this one is a little bit skewed because of perspective. Now, I made a selection. It needs to be moved a tiny little bit. And I can move it with my arrow keys on the keyboard. Now, if I get my brush tool and I brush with black, it'll reveal what's behind there. Oh, there's a bunch of sky behind there. But what if there was something else? What if there was this bird flying? I could actually go and make a selection, if I wanted to, of just what I want. Maybe it's just this bit right here. I'm going to move this. I want this bird about that much, and I'm just going to set Command-C for copy. Now, if I do Command-V and paste, it goes on top. What happens if I move this layer underneath? Now all of a sudden I can move that layer underneath, and the stairwell looks like it's going into somewhere else. Now, this layer here, I can click and make another layer mask, and I can get my brush tool and get rid of this, because that doesn't matter what is behind that. So, layer mask, layer mask. You're going to create your own environment, and you're going to have portals going into other dimensions, we'll say. So where this one is going into a sky with a bird flying in it, or if I want the sky to be changed, I can change it. And I'll show you some progress images as we go along. Sounds good? I'm going to wrap this up, and you guys have a good weekend. Ciao, ciao.